firsthand as they happen, where they happen. We bring the information to you undiluted, verified, accurate, balanced, and without bias. Told from a human angle perspective. We interview the actors and the experts. All facts laid bare. From Nigeria to the rest of the globe, we deliver the news on time and in time. This is Globe File on Adamogo 93.1 FM, Lekki, Lagos.
Good afternoon. This is Globe File on Adamogo 93.1 FM Lagos. I'm Ayo Adekeye. Headlines. Court clears Jonathan for 2027 presidential race. Major power shift in Senegal as ousted Prime Minister gets elected as National Assembly President. Australia records first diphtheria fatality since 2018. We begin from home where the federal government and the Republic of Turkey have signed a memorandum of understanding to strengthen bilateral cooperation in the solid mineral sector. According to a statement by the Special Assistant on Media to the Minister of the Solid Minerals, Lara Weye-Wise, the agreement was signed on the sidelines of the Istanbul Natural Resources Summit in Turkey. Speaking during the ceremony, Minister of Solid Minerals Development Dele Alaki said Nigeria is ready to leverage Turkey's technological advancements and expertise in mining exploration. Elsewhere, the Federal High Court of Abuja has declared former President Goodluck Jonathan eligible to contest in the 2027 general elections. Justice Peter Alifu made a declaration while delivering judgment in a suit seeking to bar Jonathan from participating in future presidential elections, having taken the oath of office twice as president. However, in his judgment, Justice Alifu dismissed the suit on grounds of being an abuse of court process. He further slammed the cost of 20 million naira against the plaintiff in favor of Jonathan and 1 million naira in favor of the Attorney General of the Federation. Away from Nigeria now, Senegal's President Bashir Diomaye Faye has appointed senior economist and former central bank top official Amadou Al-Aminu Lo as Prime Minister, days after abruptly dismissing his former mentor Ousmane Sonko and dissolving the government. Lo faces the difficult task of steering Senegal through deep financial and political crises. According to the presidency, the new Prime Minister's expertise in economics and finance will be essential as Senegal grapples with a debt burden estimated at over 130% of GDP and works to restore confidence after the suspension of $1.8 billion IMF support program. In the meantime, just days after his dismissal, Ousmane Sonko has been elected president of Senegal's National Assembly, marking another major shift in the country's political landscape. Reports said he secured the post with 132 votes, underscoring the continued dominance of his party in the parliament and his rapid return to a central role in national politics. The move comes after a turbulent political period that saw Sonko removed from the Prime Minister's office and then repositioned through legislature. The issue has sharply divided political actors, constitutional experts, and public opinion, with critics arguing that the move would violate the country's constitution.
Of reinstating the former Prime Minister, a prospect that the opposition considers illegal and that some legal experts deem impossible according to Article 54 of the Constitution, which states that membership in the government is incompatible with parliamentary mandate as well as with any professional activity, public or private, that is remunerated.
Fin de citation. Sauf que, estiment les partisans.
But Ousmane Sonko's supporters argue this incompatibility does not cancel his election as a deputy. It only prevents him from exercising both functions at the same time.
Simultanément les deux fonctions. Or, selon
The debate comes at a time when the ruling PASTEF party dominates parliament following its landslide victory in November 2024 legislative elections, securing 130 of the 165 seats. And now the Republic of Congo has announced it will officially abolish visa requirements for all African citizens from January 1, 2027, marking a major step towards continental integration. President Denis Sassou Nguesso made the declaration during the annual meeting of the African Development Bank in Brazzaville, held alongside celebrations marking African Day. The Congolese leader said the reform is designed to promote African integration, expand economic and cultural exchange, and encourage cooperation between nations of the continent. Congo follows the path already taken by countries like Benin Republic, Togo, Rwanda, Ghana, Seychelles, and the Gambia, all of which have adopted policies allowing Africans to enter without visas. You're listening to Globe File on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM Lagos. Still to come, Australia records first diphtheria fatality since 2018.
You can listen to Adami Mogo 93.1 FM from any part of the world. Download the Adami Mogo 931 FM app from Google Play Store and Radio Garden, and follow us on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you have eyewitness stories claims exclusive to share, contact the Adami Mogo FM newsroom via mail at newsroom@adamimogofm.com, or you can dial 070-634-03583. You can dial 090-319-69629. Adami Mogo 93.1 FM Lagos, voice of the light.
Thank you for staying with us, and now to the rest of our stories. French rape survivor Giselle Palicot has expressed shock at the news that their three teenage boys have been spared custodial sentences over the rape of two girls in Antwerp. Recall, two girls, aged 15 and 14, were raped in separate incidences in Fordhambridge in November 2024 and January 2025 by two 14-year-olds. Another boy, then 13, was also convicted for his involvement in the second attack.
J'en ai entendu parler ce matin. Je suis profondément choquée de voir.
I have heard about it this morning, and I'm deeply shocked that these individuals were able to, in fact, gain their freedom again, when, in fact, the victims are suffering so hard they'll never be able to heal. After all, rape is a crime, and justice has an essential role. It's there to, in fact, name the crimes, to recognize the suffering of victims, and to remember that, in fact, they must not remain unpunished.
The Attorney General is to review the youth rehabilitation order sentences given by the judge, who had said last week he wanted to avoid criminalizing the very young boys. Palicot, however, saluted the strength and courage of one of the young girls for speaking out after the attack.
Je salue la force et le courage.
I wish her strength, and I salute the strength and courage of this woman. I hope that my story was useful for her to make that decision, but I really salute the decision she made, because I know that it's an incredibly difficult decision. I went through that, and I know the path that she must have followed in order to be able to get there.
Recall that the 73-year-old was at the center of the biggest rape trial in French history, which saw her husband, Dominique Palicot, jailed for 20-year term. Outside Europe, Australia has recorded its first diphtheria death in almost a decade as the country grapples with the worst outbreak of vaccine-preventable disease in decades. Speaking earlier today, the Northern Territory Health Minister said autopsy results from an overseas lab found diphtheria was the cause of a man's death in April at the Royal Darwin Hospital, the first such case since 2018. In March, the Northern Territory declared an outbreak of diphtheria, with cases also in Western Australia, South Australia and Queensland. Cases started rising in late 2025, with a sharp increase in February. This year, there have been 245 cases, marking the largest outbreak in Australia since 1991, mainly in the remote indigenous communities. Now to business, where luxury sport car maker Ferrari has unveiled its first fully electric car, the £640,000 Luce. The new model departs from the look of typical Ferraris as the Italian brand's first ever 5-seater, created in collaboration with the Love Form agency founder by former Apple designer Chief Sir Johnny Ive. Speaking in Rome, Ferrari chief executive Benedetto Vigna said the Luce, Italian for light, has taken half a decade to develop. Responses on social media to the launch ranged from describing it as straight to the junkyard trash to an absolute masterclass in design. Supercar rivals like Lamborghini and Porsche have scaled back on their EV plans due to poor demand and intense competition from Chinese brands. And now to sports, the New York Knicks reached the NBA Finals for the first time in 27 years after commanding 130-93 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Knicks continued their fine form as they swept the best-of-7 Eastern Conference Final 4-0 and extended their franchise record playoffs winning streak to 11 games. Karl Anthony Towns led the Knicks scoring with 19 points and 14 rebounds, while the series' most valuable player, Jalen Brunson, added 15. The Knicks, whose only NBA title came in 1970 and 1973, last reached the finals in 1999 when they lost 4-1 against the San Antonio Spurs. Finally, on entertainment, South Korean 7-piece BTS have won Artist of the Year at the American Music Awards for the second consecutive year, cementing their status as one of the world's biggest bands. The award, considered the ceremony's grand prize, is just the latest crown jewel for the so-called kings of K-pop, who have been on a $1 billion world tour since returning from nearly 4 years hiatus in March. BTS also won Song of the Summer for their album's lead single Swim and Best Male K-pop Artist, while label partners Yetsei were dubbed New Artist of the Year. Golden, the viral single from the animated hit film K-pop Demon Hunters, was named Song of the Year, while Sabrina Carpenter won Album of the Year for Man's Best Friend. Carpenter also won Best Female Pop Artist and Best Pop Album, while Justin Bieber was named Best Male Pop Artist. So in Global, here's a recap of the biggest stories. It brought it to you that the Federal High Court Abuja has cleared former President Goodluck Jonathan eligible to contest in the 2027 general elections, slamming a cost of $20 million against the plaintiff in favor of Jonathan. As on the news, Usman Sonko has been elected president of Senegal's National Assembly after his dismissal as prime minister, marking another major shift in the country's political landscape. Finally, Australia has recorded its first diphtheria death in almost a decade as the country grapples with the worst outbreak of vaccine-preventable diseases. And that's Globe File. It was edited by Dimachuku Ndubisi. Join us at 2 o'clock for the briefing on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM Lagos. I'm Ayo Adekeye. Good afternoon.